And finally, at number one, my absolute favorite soccer podcast is, no surprise, I think most people will agree, Guardians Football Weekly, hosted by the inimitable James Richardson. I think all of us who do podcasts try to imitate him very unsuccessfully. What do I like about this podcast? Well, the pundits, which are the best pundits you could ever get. Not only in the fact, not only as far as how much knowledge they have, but also how constantly hilarious they are. And it's not like one-liners or any sort of cheesy humor. It's always very soccer-related humor. Like they'll refer to something that happened with John Terry weeks and weeks ago or months ago that someone who follows the game will get and love because it refers back to something that they recognize. They have Barry Glendenning, Raphael Horningstein, Sid Lowe, both of whom you will always hear calling in from some random taxi in Spain or something like that. Ian McIntosh is another one of my favorites. Barry Glendenning is absolutely my favorite. So other than the best pundits, one of the coolest thing is, as I said, some of the humor which comes from James Richardson. The other thing is that they refer to football that's not just the Premier League. They refer to Serie A, they refer to La Liga, they refer to smaller, like big events and smaller leagues that happen. So they really do compact a lot of entertainment and information within a 2-hour-long podcast each week. The only problem I've ever had with the Football Weekly podcast is sometimes your team will go, even as a Manchester United fan, your team won't even be mentioned in a podcast just because they're trying to cover such a compendium. They're basically trying to cover all of football. So sometimes teams that you care about will completely go unnoticed. So you won't, so if you support a smaller Premier League club, maybe this is not the podcast for you to listen to. But if you love football in general and are okay with your team being slighted a couple of times, you absolutely should listen to this podcast. As I said, it's my absolute favorite, and that's why it's at number one on my list of favorite podcasts to listen to. Let me know what you think. If you think out of these 5 that I highlighted, that was Soccer Talk at number 5, and the others. Wow, I forgot the list. I mean, World Soccer Talk. ESPN FC podcast was at number 2. Men in Blazers was at 3. BBC Football Phone In was at 4, and of course number 1, as I just mentioned, the wonderful Guardian podcast, Football Weekly with James Richardson. So if you think I missed out on anyone, let me know in the comments or get in touch. And make sure that you subscribe to the ULF podcast. We have lots of other cool stuff. Check out our other videos. Definitely check out the one that my buddy Arithman made about the AFCON Premier League, which is something that even the Guardian podcast was not able to get its hand on. So thank you everybody for listening to these 5 videos.